Cooking for me always involves lighting the Essie first, my wood burning range. I love it. It just gives me that whole feeling that I'm starting right from scratch, that primeval thing. None of that just turning on the gas and there it is. I've got to warm up the Essie. So while the Essie is warming up, I can get on and start preparing the food that I'm cooking today. So on a Sunday, as I record this, I often go and meet the lovely Julia, who's doing some singing down at Sullington Barn in West Sussex, just north of the South Downs. And I go and visit her in the van so that we can have lunch together. It gives me something to do and it's a sort of reward for all Julia's help in the videos and stuff. So I thought today I'd pick up my book here, 400 Soups. And I've had this on my shelf for, oh, I don't know, donkey's years. And I do occasionally go to it. So I'm looking for a nice warming soup because today's very windy, it's overcast and there's a cold chill in the air. So I found this black-eyed bean and tomato broth, but I'm going to adapt that. So although I've looked at the ingredients that's required, I'm actually going to mold it slightly. So what I need is some potatoes. No, I don't need potatoes in this particular one. Tomatoes, which I have here on the vine. I'm going to use some black-eyed beans, but also some chickpeas as well. The aim is to blend all this up together. So it's tomatoes, black-eyed beans, and a little bit of lemon and some onion and possibly a bit of red pepper. So that's probably all that I'm going to need in this little soup. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll turn out all right. Oh, and basil. I forgot basil. I've got some basil here. I quite like basil. It's got a lovely flavour, so I thought I'd buy fresh basil. I've got the basil in pots, you know, that you buy, the dried stuff, which is very nice, but I thought I would buy that. And also, I hope that I can grow this again on my windowsill, possibly, to add into other things. So, I'm not using all of this. Some of this is for an evening meal, so I don't need my carrots, my parsnips, and all of those, and the cabbage. We're going to use that somewhere else. I'll hang on to the lemon. Right, so all I now need is a chopping board, which I have here, a sharp knife, and I need just to sort of prepare everything. We're going to start with the onions. Whoop. Now we're done with that. We'll start with the onions. Nothing gets edited out here, as you can see. We'll start with the onions, which I'm going to gently saute, is it, or fry, just until they're a little bit soft, along with the red pepper. And then I'm going to get a pan and put the tomatoes in. But I just wanted to show you, you may remember in a previous video, I picked up a butler sink. I went up to London and I saw the lovely Sean James Cameron, and he very kindly, sorry, it's a Belfast sink, not a butler sink, it's the old-fashioned sink. I've got it here, it's very heavy. I'll turn it round so you can see it. I've just cleaned it up, but it's sitting here until I make the outhouse. Well, it looks like the Essie is blazing away. It's slowly warming up, does take a bit of time. I'm going to get cracking and start chopping up the onions, and then we'll get them loosely frying. Where's my knife? Now, some people I know, they like to peel their tomatoes. I'm just going to wash them and then just chop them up, because there's one thing that you try to do in this business of making YouTubes and having a destination. I'm trying to meet Julia at lunchtime. Time, of course, because I'm faffing about with the camera, moving it around, trying to get all the shots and whatever, is ticking away, and I haven't got that long. So I'm just going to chop them in and bung them in. I'm going to use all 4, or have I got 6? Actually, I think I've only got 5 on this, so that's a bit of a cheek. So I'm going to use them all, and then chop in the basil, and then we'll see how we go with that. They're doing very nicely. The Essie is a bit slow because the wood is just a little bit damp, so that's always a pain, and it may mean I have to resort to an electric immersion hub, or is it an induction hob? One of the two. I always forget the name mixed up. So right, that's what I gotta get on to. Back to the sharp knife business. I think I'm actually only going to use 4 of those because that does look like quite a lot of tomatoes. Right, I need a saucepan. Which one shall I use? One of these up here and get them on. Lovely. Let's try that one. So I've got some boiling water here, bashing into the logs, which I'm going to add to the tomatoes to start the process up a bit, because I'm dashing against the clock here, so I'm going to replace that. These are now steaming and beautifully ready. Let's get a shot of this. My filming skills may just start to wane a bit now because I am actually rushing against the clock, as I say, but I'm going to shove those in with the tomatoes. We need to chop up the basil and add that, and then the other ingredients. So I'm going to pick out some of this basil. I don't know how much to use, to be honest with you, but I'm going to pick out most of it and chop it up. I think that's okay. And then we'll add that and the black-eyed beans and chickpeas. So in they go. And I'm going to put in some of these. These are some that I've already prepared. Actually, there's butter beans in here as well. I'm going to put the rest of the basil, which looks in a bit of a sorrowful state, on the windowsill there, in case it grows. Right, let's take this. Got my lemon, which I'm going to cut in half, and I've got a lemon squeezer here, and I'm going to add a bit of zest to the mix by squeezing this. And then we can add a little bit of lemon zest to that. Right, so far so good. I can add a bit of salt and pepper now, and maybe a bit of turmeric and some other bits and bobs, but I think that's probably all I'm going to do. It's got to bubble up for a good 20-25 minutes. I've just got time to get that, then get it into a container. I will zizz it up in the Moulinix mixer. Moulinix makes things simple, and that includes the price. Anybody from the 70s may remember that advert. So now at least I can relax. All I've got to do is feed the fire, tidy up a little bit, and hopefully this will be okay. Take it over to Julia in the van and we'll see if she likes it. So let's see how that goes. I think I mentioned earlier in the video that it was a dreadful weather day, and yes, it is. I'm here now in the van, and Julia is still doing her singing, so I've got here a little earlier. A bit of a panic to get here actually, because the road's incredibly busy on a... Who's going out when the weather is as miserable as it is now? I don't know. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing Julia. She's doing her singing. she'll probably bring the car around like she sometimes does to here, especially when it's raining, because I've parked. There's 2 parkings. I think there's one near the barn where a lot of them will park because they're doing their singing in the barn at Sullington. And then there's this sort of bit where a lot of the walkers who go walking up on the Downs park. And it's very kind, I have to say, of Sullington Manor to allow us all to park here. This is great. So I've got the soup in. Let's have a look. It's in here. There it is, and I've whizzed it up in the blender. So all it needs now is a little bit of just a little preheating again, or just warming up when Julia gets here. So I shall wait till she arrives. There she is. Hello.
Hello.
Enjoying the weather?
Oh, beautiful English weather. Are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Here she is.
It's the long thing. Takes long to do anything. Ta-da! Oof, if I may, perch myself. Oh, tea at the ready. What a great host you are.
I am, far too good. Right then, here we go. I think it's all set to come in the bowls, which actually the bowls are quite cold, but the soup is boiling hot. So we'll pour that out. Nice gloopy sound.
Smells delicious.
Yes. Never done this before, and as I mentioned at the beginning, I have somewhat altered the recipe I found in the book. I'll just use it all up.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah. Because I didn't want to use coriander, and I bought fresh basil instead.
Delicious.
I hope so. Hope you like basil.
I do, actually.
He's a nice bloke, and I've got all his books. Right, do come and try it.
Don't mind if I do.
I didn't put too much salt in it. Might need a bit more.
Still very hot right now.
Yeah.
It tastes divine. I might add a tiny bit of salt, actually.
I've got to find it. It's it might be under the driver's seat.
Ah.
The soup was very successful. Julia loved it. I loved it. We had a lovely time. It's the following day. It's a bit nicer and warmer, but I wanted to finish the edit and this video today, so I've not been out in the beautiful sunshine that we have. But I wanted to bring you, talking of food, an update on these mushrooms that I'm growing, the ready-to-grow chestnut mushrooms, which are popping up nicely. They're probably very soon to be harvested, and no doubt I'll include them and let you know what they taste like. But I just thought I'd just show you the state of play for them. Let's just plonk them down. Another thing I wanted to mention was this book. Now, I've mentioned this book already once before, Brave Old World by Tom Hodgkinson. And he separates the book up into chapters by month, so January, February, March, etc., etc. And I sort of briefly looked at January, I think, in a previous video. Here we are in February. And the reason I look interested in this is mainly about husbandry, his story, but also the fine art of looking after yourself, in as much as growing your own food, being free from supermarkets, and all the sort of paraphernalia of bureaucracy that goes with it. And I love his vision, if you like. And I have my vision of owning a bit of land somewhere, or renting some land, not an allotment. You've heard me talk about this before, and I will hopefully start looking about to see what's available in future videos. I don't want this just to be just talk about it. I want to actually see it and experience it for myself. But part of the process is to learn a little bit about it. So according to Tom Hodgkinson and the authors that, when I say authors, the historic authors that he refers to and brings into the text, people like Thomas Tusser, I think it is, and William Cobbett, who are renowned gardeners who give advice from different periods of history. February is the time to get into the soil, to put the nutrients back into the soil, to prepare the soil for the next harvest and that sort of thing. I think one of them says, get the dung in, you know, the animals with the old-fashioned fertilizer, which speaks to me of that old small-scale farming that I'm often talking about. But, you know, living in a terraced house in a town, a seaside town, without the luck of having land, it's so difficult to do it. You sort of dream of it and you talk about it and you think about it, but actually doing it is another matter, of course. He also mentions Darwin and the importance of the earthworm and how much the earthworm does for a garden in itself, and that you want to encourage the worms in because they will really help you put the soil into a suitable, is it friable, is that the right terminology, to make the earth really good for plants without using artificial fertilizers and things like that, so manures and all of that, and getting the earth into a good system, because the traditional way is to plow and harrow and get it into a system. And then there were the newer ideas of the no dig, and I think Julia and I did a bit of no digging on her little garden patch in her garden. I don't have a garden, I just don't have one. But it's fascinating. So I'm going to try in the videos going forward, which is a horrible corporate phrase I hate, but in the future, I hope to sort of bring to you some of the content of this book and some of the advice. And at some point, I can tell at some point in the future, land, a farm or something will come, an offer that is affordable, is practical, is near enough localable, or that I end up selling my house and going on to at some point in the future, so that I can grow this food and live the life that I guess I and a whole bunch of other people are seeking. So this is only the early part of it, and I hope that I can continue to make these videos and share that journey with you. We will see, whilst at the same time looking at England. The weather is improving, and I hope to be out in my van going on the tours very soon. Winter is a difficult time because it's a lot of thinking, it's a lot of thought processing, and it's a lot of dreaming. And I'm aware that in the videos at the moment, there is a lot of me talking about stuff and just not getting done. And it's frustrating because I want to take you there. I don't just want to sit here and be one of those people who just talks about it. I actually want to get things done. Anyway, thank you for watching this one. I hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, become a patron, support what I do at baldexplorer.com if you've got a few spare pennies. And as the year progresses, we'll see what happens. See if I can turn these dreams into reality. Till next time, I better go and spray my mushrooms and make sure that these are getting nice and plump, but they do look very good. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care, bye-bye for now. Right, where did I leave the water? In the back room.